All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is AKA Mario Hardy. I should say Mario Hardy, AKA DJ Ragtop. And with me today, I got DJ EZ-Hutch. What's going
What's
on,
up,
Hutch?
man? Hey, everything's everything. Happy New Year, brother.
Happy New Year's.
Yeah,
So,
man.
ladies and gentlemen, just so y'all know, Hutch is pretty much he's when I first started this video, hit Hutch. There was two DJs that were mentors to me when I first started. It was DJ EZ-Hutch and DJ Nate. And so right now he's called to me he's like the legend of our area when it comes to DJs because I'm telling you, this man knows it all. When I say he knows it all, I mean he knows it all. So Hutch, go ahead, tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been in this business.
Well, I've been DJing since like 1977, and I came from the era of the 8-track to the cassette to the 1200s turntables, then the CDs, and then to the digital world. And then I don't know if you remember, man, about maybe 5 or 6 years or so, I was like, uh, the cloud is going to be the storage place for music and
Right.
whatnot,
I
and
remember
it
that.
is now. Yeah.
Yep.
So I've been pretty much keeping up with all the cutting edge technology in regards to uh, using different platforms within what I do as a DJ. So that way, um, it's a passion, man. So that's just the intro of what I do. And after a period of time, I uh, I started in Celestial Radio. I was at 104.5, and then I created a show there called the Easy Sunday Show. Thus, my name DJ EZ-Hutch, and I created that, and I left there and I went to Fayetteville State and I started teaching DJing over there for about 4 years, and then I was like, you know what? It's time for me to start my own radio station. So now I have an internet radio station, and my thing with that was I wanted it to be commercial free, and I wanted to control all aspects of my audio, my sound, and whatnot. And and I've been going on running on 9 years now. When I left Fayetteville State, I started my own internet radio station, and it's WEZH hyphen DB radio, and I'm on 24/7, commercial free, and that's my passion as well. So that's one area that I like to delve into. But and I appreciate the kind words that you said at the beginning of this presentation, which is I mean I thank you, and I'm always one of the guys that always like to help out other DJs, and it's not like it's a trade secret or anything like that. Um, when I come the way I was brought up in the DJ world, I didn't have anybody to teach me anything. Everything
Right.
that I learned from trial and error and from boots on the ground, and just taking the initiative to take it even further.
Well, you know what?
So
Well,
yeah,
Hutch, we already got a question already. Wow.
oh yeah,
Kendra, hey Kendra, she's asking, are you teaching how to do run internet radio?
yes I
Because she would
can.
love to, and she said she would love to learn.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. Now, yes, I can teach you how to start your own internet radio station. I've actually launched two internet radio stations shortly after I started mine, and one of them is up in Raleigh, North Carolina, and they're still going strong. I think they're on their 8th year, um, and he and I are real close. We were in the same record pool back when DJs was getting records, and I still got thousands of records in that aspect too.
Yeah, he
And
does.
yeah, he got DJ of the year, and then I got it the next year, and I mean we're like brothers, man. And anytime I have a question that I might be looking for something, and vice versa. I mean, it's so many different ways, man, on how to do what we do and take it to another level. Like conversation you and I had earlier today when you were talking about the record pools, and man, that record pool that we talked about, man, is the number one record pool, but it's like a hidden record pool,
Right.
and it has everything, man. it's so much music that I go through about 2 terabyte. I'll fill up a 2 terabyte hard drive in about 3 months on average. 2 to 3 months,
Right.
I'm filling up a 2 terabyte hard drive. So when it comes to music, I got over 100 terabytes of music.
Yeah, I know. 'Cause I know
That's
when
just
I know I went to
go
your
ahead.
studio, boy. I'm telling you, man. You had. I remember the first time I went over to your studio, and I saw how much equipment. I mean, you had. I mean, I know I have a lot of hard drives. I had like 32, but your stuff was extreme. I mean, you had a lot of music. I mean, he was just. And the thing is, between music, CDs. I mean, he had so much stuff going on. So I was just blown away. I was really impressed when I first met you, and you invited me to come on over to your studio. And I mean, you gave me
Yep.
the full tour, the breakdown of the equipment. I guess that's what I learned what right looks like was when I first met you.
Uh-huh.
You gave me some insights in reference to how to manage your music, how to manage your data, your music, your media in a sense. And
Hmm.
I'm telling you, every time I call you, you're always teaching me something new. So look, when I think
Man,
I'm ahead,
hey.
I call you and I find out I'm behind still.
Matter of fact, you remember that time when we both bought those daggone cold sparklers recently?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, we bought them like around, and we didn't know either of us were buying it. And we
Right.
bought or purchased ours about the same, almost the same day. And
Yeah.
mine malfunctioned the first time I used it, and yours did it like the first or the second time you used yours.
I
And I was
think
like,
it's
oh,
like
this is,
after because you had kind of like we told me what happened to yours. I said, well, dang. So I went out there and I used them again, and they worked. But then I was like, okay. But then when I got out there to the wedding, that's when they didn't want to work right.
yep,
And you told me because it messed up with you during your wedding the first time you used them. So for
yep,
me, it was the same thing.
yeah. I mean, that was embarrassing, man. You know, for to be highly recommended for a gig, and then you have a malfunction. That's a major malfunction right there, man.
Yeah, it is.
Um, because brides, that right there would have been had I charged. See, I didn't even charge for that particular wedding because that was a wedding gift for one of my soldiers from the Gulf War. But had I charged them, I would have had to do a refund. No ifs,
Right.
ands, or buts about it, And that's just being professional about what we do. Is that we have to hold ourselves accountable for everything that we do.
Right.
And there's so many different areas, man, where a DJ that does not have the experience and is not level-headed could lose it real quick. And a DJ sets the tone. I don't care what kind of event it is, whether it's a corporate, a quinceañera, a sweet 16, uh, bar mitzvah, whatever. The DJ sets the tone. Now, when we talk about the DJ setting the tone, I'm kind of drifting off here a little bit because we done morphed into this right here. So, in that terms, when you and I have both had different experiences with different wedding planners and wedding coordinators and whatnot, and if a DJ is not at a professional level, you're going to have some problems. And those
Right.
problems usually stem from one's ego, whether it's the DJ wanting to be boastful or the wedding planner slash coordinator wanting to embarrass the DJ. And I find that a lot. Whereas they want to make the DJ look like he does not know what he's doing. And
Or in some cases, try to cover up their mistakes by blaming on the DJ.
exactly, yep, exactly. And so it's a method to the madness. Um, for example, I was doing an event, and the bride and the groom wanted a particular, well, had a particular color thing, and I gave them my recommendation. They didn't want to go with that, and then when they saw what I tried to tell them beforehand, because they listened to their coordinator, and when they did that, that shut me out the picture. So I said, okay, well, I have to let them find out for themselves. And
Right.
they wanted a red, um, I had a red projector gobo, and they wanted red, and the wall from the uplighting was red. And I said, you're not going to be able to see the logo. You're not going to see it. Well, that's what we want. Yes, ma'am. Roger that. And at the event, they couldn't see it. They was like, where is it? I said, it's on the wall. I said, let me show you. So I moved it away from the wall and shined it down to the floor, and they saw it. So then I said, so what do you guys want to do? So they, they decided that they wanted some money back. And I said, okay, well, we'll talk about that after this event. This is not the time. So that was a situation, man, that could have gotten really out of hand for um, a DJ that did not have the right frame of mind, so to speak, because everyone is going to point the finger at the DJ. And a lot of times the wedding coordinator / event planner will set you up. And I told you about that experience that I had down at Mariana's, where that was the first time in my whole career of DJing that I refunded the whole amount of their wedding, because I got thrown under the bus. And it was not something that was accidental. It was intentional. And we're not going to talk about that here. This is not the platform for that. I'm sitting here sweating, but I'm turning my AC on in a minute. But and that's one thing about being professional with what it is that we do. Now, to get back to the music aspect of it, when I teach students on at Fayetteville State, one of the first things, most of them, especially the guys, can you teach me how to scratch? No, because you can't dance to scratching.
Right.
They're if one cannot learn how to beat mix, because that's the first thing that a DJ has to learn, is music structure. And the reason why I say that, and you have experienced it too, is that sometimes we would do an event, and the clients, the kids rather, will come up and say with their phone, they'll come up to you and be like, hey, you got this phone right here, this song right here, and they come up with their phone and they want you to play it from their phone, and it's a YouTube video, and you be like, it's not clean,
Right.
But they want to hear it then. So when you play it, no one's dancing, because it might have came out an hour before they came to the event, and they is like, this is hot. It may be hot to them, but when you play it through some speakers like this, and this is a cheap speaker, this is a line array. So when you play it through a pro sound system, it's going to sound terrible. It's going to make you look bad.
Right.
And again, bam, you're thrown under the bus. So what I learned how to do a long time ago, when somebody come up and want a request, I say, what's your name? Jane Doe. Okay, what's the name of the song? Song such and such. So when I play that song and I clear my floor, I was like, okay, this next song is dedicated, a special request from Jane Doe, and here it is. I'll say the name of the song, and I'll watch that floor. If two people walk off that floor, I just threw that person under the bus. They're not coming back up and ask me to play nothing else, because I just embarrassed them without saying it. So everybody know that Jane Doe asked for that jacked up song. So Jane Doe is into her feelings now and ain't coming back up there. They may send somebody else to test the waters. And then when you start doing that, you create a boundary. So now I don't take requests, because I have an app for that called Vibo. VIBO. That right there is a game changer, because with Vibo, I create an app. I don't create an app. The app is already made, but I create their event, and it's specific to the client. And all they have to do is go through there and plus click a song that they like. I'm going to take that into an M3U. I will drop it into Serato as a crate, and now
Right.
I have an MP3 playlist for that
Right.
event. Boom, done deal. They don't have to do a whole lot of writing down this and writing down that. Nope. If they got a playlist like on SoundCloud, pretty much any streaming platform, I'll be able to convert it so that when I play it at the event, I will warm it up with platinum notes. And platinum notes will have all your sound files sounding at 320 bit rate. So you
Right.
might have something that's 98 bit rate, which is really jacked up. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
white line, and you be like, you have to turn your volume up, man. You have to go to the store and get another
Mm-hmm.
device to bring the volume up because it's that
Mm-hmm.
low. So with the
Right.
platinum notes, boom, now all my music is at 320. Even the music that I play on my radio station, it gives it warmth, it gives it ambience. So now
Right.
your sound's gonna sound good. You have a very good sound system because you have Bose.
Right.
Now you try to play some jacked up stuff in the Bose, it's gonna make your Bose sound like they're falling apart.
Right.
You know, Bose is finicky with sound. You can't play no crap on a Bose system. It's gonna let you know because it's
And
gonna
that's what
sound like a tin can.
and that's what
Yeah,
I kind of explain to people when you get stuff off of YouTube, like especially these TikTok songs that are becoming real popular. It's
yeah,
like you have like I said, they don't understand behind the scenes. We have to go in and we have to we actually have to go in and modify the music to where it sounds to 320.
yeah.
And that's one of the biggest issues is you can tell like a DJ, we can tell when 320 and it drops down to 128.
Yes,
You can
sir.
hear it. You can hear it in this way. We call it quality of the sound.
Yeah,
But you're absolutely
yeah,
right on that.
yeah,
So let me ask you this, Touch. So
yeah.
what made you back in '77? What made you decide to get into DJing?
I um I used to go to a um a couple of clubs when I was underage, and I was like, damn, that DJing is tearing it up. I want to do that. I want to learn how to do it. And I just had an ear for music because all throughout my life, I had always been involved in music. You know, from an early age. When I was in elementary school, I started playing the trumpet. Then when I got to high school, I was playing the violin and the saxophone and various different the violin, the cello, the saxophone, the alto, the bass, not the bass, but the baritone sax, the alto and the
Okay.
tenor sax. So then when I went to college, I went to Virginia State and I was in a marching band. Now my era, I grew up, I graduated in the 70s. And then kids were not like they are now. We were more into um, things like band. The girls were like into cheerleading and flower girls and music and stuff, and the guys was sports oriented. So we were pretty active in different areas of extracurricular activities, if you will. So
Mhm.
music was always in my DNA. That's how I like to put it. So I started my first job where I was making some money. I was working for the state, so I was balling. And we had a Christmas party one year, and me and a buddy of mine, we had he had one turntable, and I had the other turntable, and we had a little cheap ass Radio Shack mixer, a 2 channel meter mixer that
Right.
after about 2 months you get this static every time you use the crossfader, right? But and the turntables were belt drive. Now here's the thing: back then they had what they call component systems, where you had the turntable. It was in one rack. You had the
Right.
turntable,
Right.
you
Right. I
had the
remember. Yeah.
equalizer, the graphic equalizer, you had the aural
Right.
exciter, you had the cassette decks, and if you was lucky, you had the double cassette deck. And
Right.
then you might have been able to have an 8 track. And then
Right.
you had the
Right.
little cheap tower speakers, all that stuff you can put in the trunk of your car, right? And that's when I
Right.
started DJing on that kind of. It was a Scott sound system, component system. They don't even make them anymore. That was my first DJ setup before 1200s even came out. Now, I was using belt drive turntables. And after a while, the belt was stretched. So your song would play, speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down. And you know it was time to replace the belt. But belts weren't easy to find, so we ended up using rubber bands. And we know how that turned out. Really
Right,
jacked up.
right,
So that's how I got my start into DJing. And then I started the Christmas party, and then I was doing a little bit here and a little bit there, and then I joined the military, and I kind of slacked off a little bit
right.
until I got stationed at my first duty station at Fort Riley, Kansas, and I got back into it. And I started buying records because another DJ, DJ Pill, who lives in Lumberton, North Carolina, he and I went through basic training in AIT and our first duty station together. And he really took off with the DJing, and I was like, wow, he's playing at the NCO club as a private, right?
Oh
In Fort
wow.
Riley. Yeah. So I left Fort Riley and I went to Fort McClellan, Alabama, changed my MOS, DJed in the club here and there. And then I went to Korea and I DJed in the club in Korea. The first day I got there in Korea, I was DJing in a club. And I was at Camp Casey. And I went down in the Ville, Tongdeshan, and I was DJing in the club called the Black Rose. First day in country. And this was in 88.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah. So I left Korea and I went to Germany. And in Germany, I was DJing at the Frankfurt Club in Hanau, Rhein-Main, Ramstein, and then I ended up getting stationed at Wildflicken, and I would catch the train, the Autobahn. I forget the name of the train system over there, but I would catch a train back to Frankfurt to DJ in the club. And
Hmm.
then I left Germany and I ended up going to Fort Lee and I started picking it back up even more so. I went to Hawaii and I went full fledged back into the game and I ended up buying me a CD player, a dual CD player, a rack mount CD player.
Right.
It was a Vestex, and that thing cost me like $2,000, and that was back in '91. And
Wow.
yeah, so boom, and then I was buying using them. Gemini had came out with a line with their DJ line, and it was
Right.
crappy, but it was you know
Right.
it served the purpose. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I was doing boat cruises in Hawaii, and then I left Hawaii and I came to Fort Bragg, and I was at Bragg. I wasn't even here a month, and one of my buddies from Hawaii was like, "Hey man, such and such club looking for a DJ, man. Go down there and see the guy." So I went down there and I started playing at Club International. Was my first club in Fayetteville in 1995, and over the course of the next several years, I played in every club in Fayetteville. Every club in Fayetteville. Chiefs, the Big Apple, the VFW, the American Legion, every club in Fayetteville I played in, and there was one particular club called Good Times. It was on Bragg Boulevard, and they had a couple of DJs that was playing, and I was working at Quality Sound at the time, and there was two DJs playing. They was from Foxy 99. They sucked, but I knew them. But hey, it wasn't my call,
Right.
and so one day the owner of the club came into Quality Sound looking to buy some speakers and whatnot. And I was a sales guy. So I sold him his first sound system for his club. And he said, come down and check me out. And I went down there and checked him out. And the DJ that was playing blew a speaker. The DJ blew his own speaker. And he had bought his speakers from Brooks Sound. You remember Brooks?
Yeah, I remember
The old
Brooks.
white guy that died a few years ago?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. He bought them speakers from Brooks. And this was right at the beginning of powered speakers when the Eon
Yeah.
JBL Eons came out.
Right.
And I sold him an Eon set system. And I listened to this club that night, man, and I was like, damn, this dude sucked. They was closing by 11 o'clock. You got a club and you closing at 11 o'clock on a Friday night. you need to change your DJs. But I didn't tell him that. So he was frustrated. About a week or two later, he came in Quality Sound. He said, man, what would it take for me to get you up in there DJ in my club? I told him my fee. I said, $400. I said, I'll be there tonight. And I was hitting him in the head every night. I was charging him $500 Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I was making bank, but I was drinking. I was an alcoholic then, right? So I said, you got 3 strikes, and I'm out. The first time I played, this old lady, she was about 70 something years old. She came up, she wanted to hear, I'll never forget this. She wanted to hear Yeah by Usher. And the owner was like, he didn't want no rap and no hip hop. And I told her, I said, that gentleman right there, you need to go talk to him and tell him what you want me to play. I said, I can't play it unless he authorizes it. So she went over there, he came over. He said, F it, man, go ahead and play what you want to play. And I said, I guarantee you within 2 weeks, you're going to have a packed club. And sure enough, within 2 weeks, he opened his doors at, I think it's 9 o'clock or 9:30. If you wasn't in line by 11 o'clock, you wasn't getting in. I was packing that guy's club. And we was closing at 3 o'clock in the morning then. I was packing that man's club every single night, Tuesday through Sunday. And I said, you got 3 strikes. And the first time he left, he didn't pay me. Called him up. I said, you got 15 minutes to get him to pay me my money. That's strike 1. Then about maybe a year or so later, the manager came, handed me my money. I counted it. I was $5 short. I said, my money ain't right. It's right. I said, no, it ain't. Count. I said, if it's right, you keep this. If it's wrong, you give me that money back that you got. She counted it. Oh, I said, no problem. That's 2. The third time, shorted me $5. That last time, I ain't even asking for my money. I had 36 crates of records in that club. 36 crates. I didn't call him asking for the other $5. I said, that's it, I'm out. I started taking my equipment out that club at 3:30 that morning, and I finished about 10 o'clock that morning getting all my equipment out that club. And I had a little small pickup truck with a camper on the back. I don't know how many trips I made, but I got all my stuff out that club. That's when I realized, I said, damn, I had 30 something records, crates records in here. I'm like, damn. I had Go-Go. I introduced so many songs. R. Kelly, Step in the Name of Love. Jaheim, um, Just in Case, Usher, Salt Shaker, all that stuff that came out then. I introduced all that stuff to Fayetteville. So I ended up shutting down every club in Fayetteville, and people that have been around here for a while can validate what I'm saying. And I mean, I even shut down the House of R&B. And the House of R&B, I DJ'd for Sir Charles and Mel Waiters and, you know, some heavy hitters in the Southern Soul circuit. Shut that club down. I shut down Chiefs, and Chiefs was the #1 club at that time. Chief would come to the club to hear me play. He was like, hey man, when you gonna come down here and play at my club? I'm not, because I'm a loyal, you know, this is where I'm at and this is where I'm gonna be. I don't jump ship like that, you know. And people that know me know that, hey, if Hutch say he's gonna come do something for you, Hutch is gonna do it. And when you jack Hutch around, Hutch ain't gonna sit there and argue with you. I'm just gonna walk away, and that's how I do business. So I ended up doing a contract with that same club because I quit after that third time. About within a month, he was done. He was shut down. Within a month, he lost everything, business and everything, because the DJ who he brought in behind me played the wrong music, and he had a fight the first night that DJ played. The head of security got skull drug, got the beat down. Then the next night he had another fight. So he had 3 fights in 2 weeks, and people once you get up in our age, we ain't down with that fighting stuff, man. Oh no,
Right.
we keep it moving. We leave it to the kids, and dude lost the business, so it stayed vacant for about 3 or 4 months. And then another guy came, and I did a contract with him. I didn't do a contract with the first guy. Lesson learned. I'm gonna do a contract. That's when I started doing my contracts. And the first week that they paid me, he handed me my check. He said, "We don't need your services no more." I said, "Okay, fine." I didn't argue with him. Monday, I was down to the magistrate, took him to court, and I won because the magistrate looked at my contract and she was blown away. She was like, "I ain't never seen a contract like this." I had it laid out that they still owed me for them 2 months after I left. And that was just the
Wow.
first 90 days. Hell yeah. And I was hitting them in the head like, I think I was charging like $700 a night. And after they paid me that first check, they were like, "We don't need your services no more." Okay, no sweat. The second night that I was there, ALE came in there. And they came in and they was like, um, first thing they did was they seen a beer on the stage and they thought that I had stopped drinking by that time. And they tried to say I was in there drinking. I said, "I don't drink." I said, "You can give me a breathalyzer." I said, "You ain't gonna smell no alcohol on me whatsoever. I don't drink." I said, "That wasn't even my beer. That was somebody on the dance floor set their beer on the stage."
Right, which happens a lot.
So, yep. So we ended up going to court, and comes to find out, I had did some research, and I was not an employee of the club. So the ALE laws did not pertain to me because I was a private, independent vendor. I was not an employee.
Right. Right.
So I won that case, and I got a judgment on the guy, and that's that. So on the club scene, that's why I don't do clubs anymore because of the
I was
shysterness
gonna,
that happened in the clubs.
and that's why I was going to ask you what made you decide to make that transition to where you went from DJing at clubs into doing event DJ services.
Well, because the clubs, people will say, "Hey man, how much you charge?" And then I was not charging what my worth was really about. Somebody asked me how much you charge. I quick $300. I was shorting myself, man. So
Mm.
Nate and I had a conversation one night. And matter of fact, you called that day, and I was at Nate's house, and we were having a conversation and talking about net worth, and that's when I decided to raise my prices, and I took that leap of faith, and I raised my prices. And while I was in there talking to Nate that day, I had a client call me that was interested in my services, and I told him what my fee was. And Nate wrote me a little note on a post-it. He said, "Meet with them tomorrow." And I said, "Hey, are you guys free the next day or so?" I said, "I'd like to meet with you guys, and we could talk about your plans and so on and so forth." They met with me the next day. I got a deposit. I was like, "Oh damn, this ain't gonna be too bad." And that's how I started getting into the weddings, the private events. So then I started building myself in that mindset, and I left the club alone because clubs are not going to pay. They don't want to do contracts, and I told other DJs, if you go to the club and they don't want to do a contract, walk away because they'll have you in there, and you're thinking you're going to play one night, and then you go back another night, and they say, "Oh, we're going to let so and so try out for tonight." You pretty
Hmm.
much got fired. Or they'll
Right.
say, "Oh, so and so didn't get up with you. They were supposed to go." Nah, I done been there, done that, and I'm like, hell to the no. So again, I don't do clubs because clubs ain't gonna pay money. The bartender walks out of that club making more money than the DJ does. The waitresses damn near make as much as the bartenders, and the DJ gets screwed because without the DJ, the bartender ain't making squat, the waitress ain't making squat. So what's wrong with this picture? They don't
You
value the
do
DJ.
right. The entertainment value that you bring is what keeps them drinking. That's what keeps them entertained to where they're doing the stuff they're doing, and that's the
Right.
part that we're neglected in the industry when it comes to the club scene.
And
But
not only that, Yeah, go ahead.
But one of the things that a lot of people probably don't know, but a lot of things I've seen is when, like I said, from the club scene to being an event DJ, you're not just a regular event DJ because you have done some of the biggest concerts in the Fayetteville area as the DJ. Where
Yeah,
in between sets and stuff like that, I know you. I know from the stuff I seen in your studio, you have DJ for like God knows for so many different like people who have came here to Fayetteville. And I can't even. I mean, it's so many different ones. I mean, I just remember I was just looking at a picture that I was joking about one time. What was her? Erica
Erica
Badu.
Badu. Yeah,
Erica Badu. It's like, it's like, dang, she looked different than when when you see her up close, because like the picture, it really showed who she really was.
yeah, she's
So I
really down
mean,
to earth, man. Yeah.
so how did you manage to get big events like that? Well, I mean, that's the part where you went from being one of the biggest club DJs in the Fayetteville area to where then you changed up, went to event DJ, so like doing it being providing an event DJ service to where you're getting the big events with like cameo and all those big stars. How did you manage to get those?
By sticking to my virtues and just being authentic. I never acted like I was another DJ or I never copied another DJ. I was always authentic. I did my own thing and I was my own boss. But then another thing that I think helped me out was when I started DJing for J. Anthony Brown. And I didn't see that one coming either. So the thing about DJing is sometimes we don't have to go out and seek employment because you never know who is there listening to you play.
Right.
Okay. So when you play, like you and I play the clean versions of a whole lot of music, we get it. Everything is not doesn't have a clean version. But when you maintain that clean flow, then you have a better opportunity to do bigger and better things because there's not a question about whether or not you play clean music versus dirty music. You know, but that right there, playing for J. Anthony Brown, kind of like put a check on my resume, so to speak, when it came to other clients that were interested in my services. And I had the opportunity to DJ for Mark Cuban, the guy that owned the Dallas Mavericks, one of his companies. And that was in Virginia. And the first one I did for that, one of his aides came up and said he wants you to be a regular DJ. And within a month, I was playing down in Florida. I was playing down for his company. I was doing events in Florida, um, North Carolina, and Atlanta. And then that morphed into something else because when I was down in Atlanta, I ended up doing some stuff for Candace, can't, damn, what's that girl name? Burroughs. I did her chef's birthday party. Damn, Candy. Man, what was she? I can't remember the name of the girl band that she was with, but she was a reality show. Um, dang, hold on. I can't remember her name, but I did an event for her show, not her show, for her chef, and that's how I got my foothold down in Atlanta. So, um, doing that and just doing staying on top of my game, man. Um, but it has not been easy. There's always going to be bumps in the road, and I'll tell any one of the young guys that's trying to get their name out there, be authentic, man. Be yourself. Don't try to talk like you from New York and you from the country. That's not going to get you anywhere. You know,
Right.
um, because sometimes they get caught up in the culture aspect of it. Because a lot of club DJs could never do a wedding, but a wedding DJ could always do a club.
Right.
It's
Right.
it's it's like night and day because a club you're playing. for a bunch of drunk people, no pun intended, but for a wedding, it's a formal type of event. That's going to last a person a lifetime of memories. So if you play something that is effed up, they're going to remember that more so than what they ate, what kind of cake it was that they had. You play the wrong song, everybody's looking at the DJ like, I don't believe he played that crap right there. And then you got the bride over there crying, and it's a done deal after that.
Right.
You can't recover from that, you know. And then it's just so many things, man, that we do that people don't appreciate. Now, the biggest part about what it is that we do is the back line, the back office stuff, the logistics, the putting together the music that we don't even charge for. Now, if we were to charge for that, it'd be a different game. Now, being a different game, if all the DJs were to say, okay, we need to have some kind of standard and stick to it,
Right.
this game would take a whole different level. And I say that because a cake, on average, a slice of cake is going to cost you, help me out, about at least $10 for a slice of cake. That's
Right.
for a crappy Walmart cake. It's going to cost you about, and I'm exaggerating, but um,
Yeah.
so a cake
I mean, but you got to
would
get the
cost,
idea what you're talking about.
yeah, a cake would cost about between $700 and $900 for a cake. And then the photographer is going to start about $900. The venue is going to cost you about $3,000 to $4,000. Then the caterer, that's another $6,000 or $7,000 just for the food. Now, most of the time, they come looking for the DJ last, and they want you to do it for $500-$600. Well, every now and then I might be passionate enough to do that, but no, on generally no, because it takes me 3-4 hours to set up, 2 hours to set down, tear down. That's 5 hours. Then the event, usually between 4 and 6 hours. Then the travel, about an hour if it's local. Then your loading up of your equipment, your maintenance of your equipment, the upkeep of your equipment. This little cheap speaker right here costs $900. This little cheap speaker. I got two of these. I got an arsenal. So when I
Right.
walk into an event, I'm coming in that bad boy with damn near $100,000 worth of stuff. Music, lights, speakers, cables. My mixer costs damn near $2,500. I'm not coming in there with no starter kit. You're not paying for just the time that I'm going to do your event. You are paying for my experience because I know what to do and how to do it. I'll keep the floor flowing. It's called rotating the dance floor because you have to have that eye. You have that ear and you have that eye, Mario. I've seen you play. You got it going on, man. Um, but you have to have that intuition, that ear, that eye. You have to be able to know troubleshooting. Now, my gig bag, I got some of everything. I got safety pins, I got stick pins, I got a little
Yeah.
sewing kit, I got all kind of daggone RCA connectors, XLR adapters, and
Right.
splitters, and all kind of stuff. Boom. So anytime that I had something that go wrong, I dig into my bag, and boom, I have a solution for it. You know, and just being able to make those things happen and the client never know it and they think that everything is running smooth, man, we be having some nightmares, man. You know, you go to a place, man, and you trip a circuit breaker and you be like, damn, where's the circuit breaker at?
Right.
Test the circuit. I gotta have two lights because if it's a ground fault, I'm not plugging nothing into that circuit, not even a speaker or a light. Okay, because
Yeah.
if you damage our equipment, and we have insurance. So if you
Mm-hmm.
damage something, let's say somebody get drunk, and it almost happened to me last wedding I did last month, where a lady was taking her shoe off or something. I have line array speakers, and she went and she put her hand and leaned on my speaker like that, and I seen it going. And that's one of my $2,000 speakers. And I was like, hey, hey. And I caught her in the speaker, and she got the attitude with me and walked off. I'm like, hey, that's okay. Because it's going to cost you about $300 to take your speaker to somebody, a tech, to tell you that your speaker's broke.
Right.
And then they
Right.
have it now where they can't repair it. They got to send it to the manufacturer
Mm-hmm.
because the game got jacked up about 20 years ago when all these um, technicians whatnot were buying a ton of spare parts, and they was fixing them and charging people a bench fee, and the manufacturer wasn't getting nothing. So the
Right.
manufacturer said, oh, hell no, you guys are going to send it back to us, and you're going to pay for the shipping. We're going to fix your product, and we're going to send it back to you, but you're going to be without for a period of time. Whereas the
Right.
technicians, you could take it in there on a Monday, you'll have it out by Friday, just in
Right.
time for the next gig. You know what I mean?
When you, but
So,
when you have to send it off,
yeah,
I've been there and done that. When you have to send a
yeah,
speaker off, you talk about a 3 to 4 week turnaround time just to get it. So by the time they get it, you talking about 3 more weeks that you have to wait in order to get it back.
right. And that's why I don't rent my equipment, because one thing I learned is when you rent your equipment, you'll be cognizant, be aware of the fact that you're renting to somebody that does not own that piece of equipment. Therefore,
Right.
it's highly likely that they don't know how to take care of it. And number
Right.
two, most DJs, the first thing they want to do, something that ain't theirs, they want to turn it up as loud as it can go to see how loud it sounds.
Right.
But they never walk out into the audience to see what it really sounds like,
Right.
when people is listening and it sounds terrible because they don't know how
And
to
see,
do a
to me,
sound check.
that's the biggest piece is that when you get behind your speakers, it's gonna have a different sound than when you're in front of them. And I
Yeah.
learned that like the hard way because I'm thinking, okay, it sounds good, but then you walk out in front, ooh wee,
Yep.
it's either too loud or too high, too high. So you have to really go back and take a good look at it.
Yep.
But you're right. You're absolutely right.
I gotta send a text to one of my admins right quick. Give me 1 second, man.
Okay.
I do
so
apologize.
so while Hutch is doing that, I just want to kind of like go back and feedback on, like I said, the way Hutch, like I said, this is one of those things as a DJ. We always start off. We always start. It's like with me. I started out in the skating rink, then I went to the club, and then from the club I went to event DJ services. Hutch, pretty much like I said, he started off again, started in the club, but then he went from club to event planning services, event services. But then, like I said, Hutch is one of those DJs I know here in Fayetteville that does a lot of big concerts. He gets hired to go out and do a lot of concerts, and then just looking at all the different things he have in his studio of all the different celebrities that he's DJ at is Hutch is he's very familiar with DJing for large size crowds. So like with him, I've learned a great deal on when it comes to speakers and sound on what's the right type of equipment to purchase. And we'll go over, like I said, we'll sit back, have conversations, and talk about the different types of speakers and what to use and what not to use. And like Hutch, he goes like I said, he goes an extra mile where he has additional equipment that I yet still don't understand, but I'm still trying to figure it out. So
What's that, man?
no, I'm just saying, like in general, you it's like you are like when it comes to you specialize in this. I mean, you as like it's like three DJs I listen to when it comes to equipment. It's you, Nate, and Swoop, because
Hmm.
y'all really y'all get really down to the nitty gritty about the equipment and the setups.
Hmm. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. The the thing about sound system, and see, most people don't know I'm deaf in my right ear. I can't. I'm wearing a hearing aid now. How does that play out when it comes to DJing? Because most people say, did it come from the DJ? No, it didn't. That come from the military, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But what I do is I read the waveforms of the music while I'm playing it. And I have a cue point for every song that I play has a cue point. So it's going to start exactly on the beat where I want it to start. Beat mixing.
Right.
That's why I don't need headphones. I don't need a monitor. Now, when you when I teach DJs about their settings, if you will, is to never let it go into the red on the mixer, the controller. Okay, I got a Denon Prime 4, I got a Pioneer, and I got a bunch of different mixes, but I never let them get into the red, because if you keep it below the red on the at the source and throughout the chain, keep it from being in the red, which is over distortion, it's always going to make your speakers sound much better than what they appear to sound. And people will be like, man, that stuff is crystal clear, because you don't have to turn it all the way as high as it can go for it to sound good. And
Right.
another technique that I use is I use 4 speakers, because I have 2 right by me, put my finger up, 2 right near me, left and right, which you really don't have to have left and right. You can have both the speakers side by side. That's just for optics, where people want to have one on the left and one
Right.
on the right.
Right.
I mean, I've done events where I use 2 speakers and I had one by me, and then I have one catacomb on the other side of the room, and I run the sound wireless. Now, when you talk about wireless, remember I turned you on to the FM.
Right. The FMs, yes, I remember that. That came in
Man,
handy, especially when I was at the Smith Lake.
there you go. That blows a lot of people's mind, because we're talking about an FM transmitter, just like you listen to your favorite FM radio station.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got presets, and we dial those presets in. And if there's not a local radio station at that particular location, I'll use that frequency. It'll transmit about 2 miles out. Now, do I use that all the time? No. It's it depends on the venue and the location. It depends. But that's just a tool that Mario and I and others use, that's part of our arsenal that we'll have with us. If we need it, we'll use it. And if we don't, it's not a big deal. I would
Right.
rather have something with me and not use it than to be somewhere and not have something that I knew I should have brought, because that makes
Right.
your day really difficult. You
That's why
know?
it's always good to have all your extra, like have your backups and your extra stuff on. Always keep it
Yeah,
with you because you just never know.
yeah, yeah. Because I tell you, one experience I had, I was doing an event for, I think it was Dollar General or Dollar Tree, one of them up in Washington, North Carolina, and I forgot my damn controller, because my grandkids got me distracted while I was loading up and forgot
Mm-hmm.
to put it in my vehicle. Man, I got there, I was like, oh, dang! Put out my iPad, and I went to work. The client never knew I didn't have a controller.
Right.
And all the way up there, I said, something, I'm missing something. I couldn't figure out what it was till I started setting up. I said, there you go. I left the daggone mixer at the house. No sweat.
Mm-mm-mm.
Put out the iPad, kept it moving. Yeah.
Okay, we got. Let's see
Yeah,
here,
so
Chris. Let's see here. Chris said something. I just saw. Just caught that.
no, that's a cheap Gemini battery powered speaker. It's the 900 something. Let me see what this thing is. It's the WRX 900 to go. It does okay. Um, and that's what I use for like ceremonies and stuff like that, so that I don't have to run cables and have no power supply. And it's Bluetooth, so I'll just connect Bluetooth it to my iPad, and I'll play the music and everything off my iPad. So that's how I use that particular style of speaker for that, for the small stuff. Um, if I'm doing an event and I want to have sound in multiple rooms, I put that in one room, put another one in another room, and because I have a Sennheiser wireless system as well. That's my main one, and that's infrared. So it'll go through walls and floors and glass and stuff like that with no problem. Um,
Well,
yeah,
see, and one other thing is, that's Chris. Chris is the DJ. You remember I was telling you about I went down to Goldsboro and I met with
yeah.
Chris is one of the DJs from the Goldsboro area, and Chris,
Okay,
I'm telling
okay.
you, he's the one I was telling you that had the high tech. Um, he's the one that had the high tech sound system where he can control it. He can ghost ride his mixer and all that good stuff. I call it ghost ride because he sit there with a cell phone, make it look like it's a ghost or something. But Chris is
Yeah.
one of those other DJ. He's out actually. He's about to leave to head on overseas, but yeah,
Oh wow.
Chris is he's
Okay.
a real good DJ, real good DJ.
Cool. Cool beans.
But one of the
Yeah.
things, one of the things I want to stress to people about Hutch is that Hutch is, like I said, he's in the game to teach. And one of the things I noticed when I went, because he invited me, like he's quick to invite you. If you're serious about learning DJing, he'll make time out to teach you. And the time, like I remember one time he invited me to come out to Fayetteville State when he was teaching. He was teaching. It was like a kind of like an extra
DJ.
portion of the communication. Was it communications, right? The communications degree that they
Yeah.
were doing out
Communications
there.
department.
And
Yeah.
he'll go out there and he'll set up. And I went out there just to see, and just to see how he teaches and how he instructs everything. And I would tell him, like I say, he is a good mentor. And like I said, if you have questions about DJing, if you have questions about the business, he has seen it all. And when I say he's seen it all, I mean when he has done concerts, I kind of look back at some of the video because and then that's another thing too. Let me tell you this: he's the only DJ I know that has a drone
A
too,
drone.
where he can video record stuff as he's DJing. So he's high tech. I'm trying to catch up with him, but he's an ultimate. I mean, when I say he is a ultimate role model, and he has a lot of knowledge about the business, and that's some of the things that as as great DJs, we have to share our knowledge, and that's how we're going to better our industry. Because I remember
Yeah.
when I sat down and the first time I saw Hutch, and I told him how much I was charging, he let me know up front. I'm charging too less. You heard it. He kind of gave me. It was like I didn't know any better at the time, but he was giving me some insights on
Right.
the amount that you should be charging your customers. And from there, I
Yeah.
learned how to adjust my prices and to meet that to kind of like make it make sense in a sense.
Yeah. Hit your comfort zone. You know. Um. Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that because when when I was playing in the clubs, I was not getting those gigs that paid good money because most people that go to the club, they're not going in there with money. They're low budget,
Right.
and then they want you to do an event for them and treat you like they done paid you $3,000 on a $300 budget and want you to play everything and no, I mean, and then they disrespect you. The guests get drunk and then they want to talk smack to you and somebody want to tip you to throw the money at you. Like they hated to do it. That's why I don't do tips. I mean, not tips. Play requests because it could set you up, especially
Right.
if you got a DJ that knows that you got your stuff pretty much together and they want to throw salt in your game. Hey man, why don't you play such and such a song, man, to get everybody on the floor? Nah, I mean that includes me, and I can't DJ and be on the floor, you know. But they'll try to throw a monkey wrench in your program just to disrupt what you got going on. Because once one takes a tip, then that person thinks that you're their personal DJ, and they're in your face all night long.
Right.
And they're not the one that paid you. They're not the one that hired you,
Right.
but they're too low budget to pay for a DJ, so they want to throw you $1 tip. I mean, what can you get with $1? You can't even buy a bottle of water with $1, man. I'll be like, thank you, but no thank you. You know,
Right.
yeah. So that Bible app eliminated that, and I'm so
Right.
grateful for that. You know, and I turn it on to other DJs. It's $100, $99 a month. Oh man, I'm not paying that. I'll say, oh, well, that's your free will. You don't have to.
Right. Well, they got, you know what? Actually, they got this gentleman now, and it's free. They got this gentleman that came up with this thing, and I've been looking at it, and I'm gonna probably have to go do a little bit more research before I talk about it. But what it is free. It's a
Okay.
free service right now. It's going. I guess
Mm-hmm.
it's going through the test mode where you go up and it has a tablet in place to where you go in, you type in what you want to
Mm-hmm.
hear, and it
Mm-hmm.
automatically processes to the system. So I just saw it like I'm gonna just say I just saw it last week, and I'm gonna do a little bit
Okay.
more research. I'll send you the link to it so you can see it too. And for all the other
Okay.
DJs, I'll tag it into
Okay.
this video.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because he's not charging a fee for it. And it's a
Okay.
lot of you upload to a tablet.
Mm-hmm.
Your people come up and they can put in a request, and it automatically lets you know what the request is. And I think it's kind of cool. I mean, it's kind of similar to what I designed, but mine
Mm-hmm.
is designed. I mean, it's designed to where you have to go to my website to do it, and
Right.
I mean, it's similar. But I'm
Okay.
definitely, yeah, I have to see that because I just saw it for the first time last week.
Okay. That's pretty cool. So
But
what it'll take the song and insert it into your crates, into your
right, I
playlist,
think that's what it is. Is
or it
that it's
just makes the
something. I mean,
song available to play.
it lets you know that someone has put in a request for this song, and you get a
Okay.
notification for it, and it's kind of free. Like me, I have
Mm,
the same thing, but you have to go through my website in order to put a request, and then once you put a request, it lets me know that you put a request in. So it's
okay.
something similar, but I believe it's a little bit better. It's designed a lot better than mine. As soon as you go through, as
Mm-hmm.
long as you have the link, you can make it to your phone. But with his, it's
Okay.
set up to where it's a tablet away from him, and you just
Mm-hmm.
go through and you put a request and it goes through. It's kind of I'm looking at it, but
Yeah. Let me
I'm
check
not
that out,
really.
man.
Yeah, I'm not seeing. I'll definitely see a link to it. So Hutch,
Because
let
it
me ask you this
sounds
question.
like, yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, what do you think? And this is I know I was having a discussion with a couple of the DJs. What do you think is hurting our industry as DJs? What's the main thing you think is hurting our industry?
Clients not respecting the DJ's worth and low budget DJs. Reverse that. Number one, low budget DJs and clients that don't respect your worth. Those are the two big things right there. And then the third one I would add is the venues, because some venues have gotten to the point where they are only allowed to DJ an hour, maybe two, to get in there and set up. And when you go in there and set up, it's already decorated because the coordinator, the event planner, whoever, the decorator, them been in there the day before and the day of, and now you got to move their stuff out of the way to get yours in there, and that's
Right.
jacked up. That's jacked up. Um, I was doing an event down in Atlanta, and the security came up and said that you got 30 minutes um, before y'all have to leave. I said, well, you talk to the wrong person. You need to talk to my client. There she is right there. And I said, ain't no way that I'm going to be able to shut this thing down in 30 minutes and be out of here. It's not going to happen. She was a security guard trying to run stuff. And the same thing happened at the Skyview last time I played there. Security guard, you know, try to run, act like it was their building. No, I'm taking my time getting out. I had them call the police on me down in Atlanta. Same thing. You're not going to rush me out of here. I'm taking my time. And this guy called the cops on me, man. And he said, the cop got there and she said, well, how long is it going to take you to get your stuff out of here? I said, I don't know. She said, that's not what I asked you. I said, about 2 hours. I only had about 15 minutes left. But since she wanted to play that role, I said about 2 hours. And I took my time, wrapped my cables, I cleaned them off, and I dusted off my speakers. I mean, I went turtle mode on them so quick, and I put a load in my trailer, lock my trailer, go back in there, get another load, put it in my trailer, unlock it, put it in the trailer, lock it, boom, boom, boom. I did that for about a good 30 minutes, and I pissed them off so bad. There's nothing they can do. I said, if you put your hands on me, I'll have you arrested. I don't care if you are in uniform, okay? Because number one, you're not here on an official call. He speed dialed you. Now, We can do this one of two ways. I said, I can call dispatch and have a supervisor come down here. And then had I done that, then that venue would have been on what they call a blotter report. They would
Right.
have had a record of a police response. So that's going to affect them later on down the road when it comes to insurance.
The
I've been doing this a
alcohol
long
license.
time.
Right. The key thing is the alcohol, like the ABC license. In order for them to sell alcohol, will affect that if they have so many of them.
That's right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, and it see to me, it's like that is that is I think that's like a lot of DJs, most of the DJs I've talked to over the last couple of years. The biggest
Hmm.
problem, like I said, it goes back to um, those, like I said, you have your low budget DJs, which is not,
Yeah.
again, I get it, they're getting started and things of that nature, but I like I was telling another DJ that just got here, just coming, that just moved here locally. I explained to
Hmm.
him that most of us, we have like a golden rule that no one goes below $400. That's just to
Yeah.
keep us. That's kind of is to keep us legit as far as our costs.
Hmm.
Once you drop below 400, of course, there's got to be just reason, whatever case may be. But we try to stay
Yeah.
within $400. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that's one of those things that so the low budget DJ, of course, now there's so many of them now that it's like there's no way to control that. All you have to do is do the best you can, because I always
Yeah.
tell people you're not competing with low budget. The only person you should be worried about competing with is yourself, because
Yeah.
everything else is going to fall into place. And then the other
Yeah.
issue is that's why I said most of the time with the venues is I've learned to develop good working relationship with the venues, because then you don't have to have those problems. Just like what you said about Skyview, Chris can
Hmm.
vouch this. Chris had the same problem, and he called me up and he said, "Hey Mario, this security guard is going crazy on me, and this," and so he started to explain to me what was going on. And after he told me what was going on, I said, "That's not Skyview. I know Skyview's reputation." So I made
Hmm.
contact with the manager, let the manager know what was going on, and come to find out the security guard was abusing their power, and by them
Uh-huh.
abusing their power, it just it made a hostile situation for him and his
Yeah.
people. He listened, Chris said, and so
Yeah.
when he told me that, and I think that's what's so strong about having a strong network of DJs. A lot of us
Yeah.
know these venues. We know the pros, the cons, to where
Yeah.
when something don't sound right, we can do what we can to help and assist him. And that's pretty
Right.
much what happened. Was he called me up and it was late. I had just finished up my event and he was telling me what was going on. I said, "Well, you know what? That don't sound right. Let me make a phone call." Made a
Hmm.
phone call and that problem got resolved quick. They reached out to
Okay.
Chris and they apologized to him on what happened.
Wow.
And I think that's why I
Yeah.
say it's crucial that we have a strong network of
Yeah.
professional DJs, because we are going to be the only ones to protect our value and what we're worth.
That's right.
We're going to be the
And
only
let
ones
me,
to stand up to really establish how things are supposed to be done when it comes to DJs.
yeah. And let me also add another thing that DJs, um, one of the problems in this market is the radio DJs don't charge what they really should be charging. Now, what I mean by that is, if when I was at the radio station, I was mix. I did, matter of fact, I did the first mix show at 104, and I started as a mix show DJ. A You go up north in some of these bigger cities like Atlanta and stuff, like the DJs make their money
Right.
because they are promoting the radio station 24/7. Okay, they are local celebrities in a sense.
Right.
They are the ones that really should have set the standard for this market, and they failed to do that because it's too much infighting, backbiting, backstabbing, and lowballing. Um, because if you are on the air and you're playing all this so-called good music, they should have been able to go out into the market and charge anywhere from $700 on up.
Right.
Because if they had done that, they would have set the standard. They would have set the bar high. So all these low budget DJs wouldn't have had the opportunity to do what they're doing, because the network, they would have had to step the game up to come up to the level that they need to be competitive.
Right.
So there's no competition anymore. It's a free for all. Now, the radio DJs, and there's some good ones, but the ones that I'm talking about, you guys know I'm not going to say no names because I'm not about that. But you listen to a radio mix show. They don't let a song play no more than about 20, 30 seconds and then into the next song. So they done went through a crate of records in about an hour, and they done played about damn near 100, 150 songs in an hour. You cannot enjoy that in no venue, because now people want to hear the words.
Right.
Now, they don't have any skills. They don't know how to blend. They call it blend tape. All it is you playing something that's 94 beats per minute, and then you jump to something that's 135. That's not no damn blend. That's a train wreck, because you ain't gonna blend it. It's
Right.
impossible.
Right.
So what do? They do a little baby scratch, crab scratch, or something like that to compensate for their lack of ability to gradually bring in the next song, one song to the next, because they do not understand music structure. And if they understood music structure, they would set the standard so that people's ears get trained real quick to what a
Mm-hmm.
DJ is playing. And if a DJ is playing too much stuff, people gonna start tuning out.
Right.
And they wonder why they have fights in the clubs. Now that
Right.
song Tear the Club Up, I never played it. Oh no, homie ain't playing that song. You can listen to it
Right.
in your car. I'm not playing it.
Right.
I refuse to play that song. I don't even have it in my library. And I got over a couple million songs. I don't even have that song. But when it got to the point where these guys would come to a venue and undercut another DJ because they work at the radio station. So they
Mm-hmm.
use their clout by working at the radio station to get themselves in the door. And then they even lowball them at the door because they're playing for $100, $150. And then they'll come in there, train wreck the place, and then say they got to leave for another event because they done jacked the daggone environment up. So now their pride is hurt. So they say they have to go do another event. They don't have to do another event. They just jack that one up and they hiding. Um, I mean, it's so many different things, man. We could sit here and talk, man, for 3 or 4 hours, man. We definitely gonna have to do this again.
Oh,
Um,
definitely. Yeah, definitely. Because I know, like, this is one of the things that, what I'm trying to do is I'm really trying to get more and more DJs to come up and talk about their experience as being a DJ, and then how we can fix a lot of these problems that we all. I mean, almost every DJ. What you just hit earlier is we always get treated like the stepchild, but we're the most important person when it comes to the event because we are the
yeah,
entertainment. And
yeah,
so, like I talked when me and Chris was talking, we was talking about how we get placed in the worst location. Like, nobody wants to be put in the timeout corner. I mean, I hate
yeah,
when I go to a venue or go to an event and well, you know what, we ain't got no space, so we're gonna put you in the corner, which is, to me, I call it the timeout corner. So you're gonna put
yeah.
me in the corner away from everything, which that means now
Right,
I'm no longer effective because I'm
right,
so far away from the dance floor.
right.
So those are things that we're like taking time to put information out here to
Yeah,
educate like future clients, future customers on
right,
what right looks like. And I think that's
right.
my whole scenario ever since I started this was
Mm-hmm.
to define what right looks like. And I know
Even,
between
even,
you and Nate, y'all were extremely helpful with defining what right looks like. And then when I went and got my degree in event planning, it's like I got a taste of what goes on around us as DJs.
right. And that's helpful right there. Um, I just didn't feel like I had the need to do that. Um, it's just something, a direction that I didn't think I needed to go. that's why people like you do that kind of stuff, and that's why we
Right.
connect like we do.
Right.
That's just not my knack. Um, because I can see things and like I had a client that right at the beginning of COVID, and this client, event planner, this was her first client, and I had did the contract and everything with her client, and it got to the point where she wanted me to come meet with her. I said, for an event for 25 people, I said, I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. I mean, that's, no disrespect intended. I said, but what purpose do they need to see me for 25 people? I don't even need to bring a full system. And it was at the Women's Business Center in Fayetteville. You ever
Right. I
been
know you're
there?
talking about. Yeah.
Man, you get
Hard for time. I
25
know.
people in there, man, you pack,
Right.
you know.
You're right.
And I did a wedding there years ago, man, and it was so packed in there, man. I was like, I was in the timeout corner, man. I was damn near in the bathroom. I'm
Hmm.
like, wow. I mean, no, man. I mean, be realistic about it. So the client decided that she didn't want to, she wanted her money back. I said, oh, no, well, you need to read clause such and such in my contract. It's non-refundable. Specifically says that it's non-refundable. Now, during the whole COVID thing, I did not have to pay back one dime in fees because I had that force majeure in my contract. And she looked at that and she was pissed. She said, "Well, can you at least give her half of it?" I said, "No, I'm not." Had she came another way, I probably would have gave her all her whole deposit back.
Right.
But she did it. She tried to circumvent me. I said, "No, I can't help her." And we have to be stern with what we do and how we do it,
Right.
because people will try to push your buttons. They'll try to see what they can get away with and what they can't.
Right.
You know.
And I think that's one of the
Yeah.
biggest things about. Um, and it's funny, we had a show yesterday about customer service. You treat people the way you want to be treated, and it's like, um,
Yeah.
when you approach the situation, if you approach it the right way, things will work out like they're supposed to. But if you
Right.
come in hot, hot, I call it hot and freestyle, you're going
Yeah.
to get a freestyle trip out quick, fast, in a hurry.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like one of those things to where do the right thing and
Right.
everything will fall in place.
Yeah.
But that's something
You
that,
know.
again, and I know, like, and that's like for the gentleman in Goldsboro, my
Hmm.
DJs in Goldsboro. I mean, I know this is what we were talking about earlier. Is we're trying to put something together where, as DJs, we all come together, have a conference to where we can better our industry. Technically, right now, the focus is North Carolina, is to
Uh-huh.
is to go in and make our DJ industry in North Carolina better. Like, I mean, not just the event DJs, but also the club DJs, the skate DJs. I mean, that's the reason why I'm doing so many different like podcasts or interviews with different types of DJs, because
Yeah.
as DJs, we really need to understand our industry, because technically we're pretty much one of the, like, when it comes to event services, hospitality and event services, the people in the industry control the industry. We
Right.
control our value, we control our outcomes, we control everything. So if people work together, then our industry can become better. I was telling another DJ earlier today, what's
Hmm.
what's the average what's the average amount that your area charges for a DJ, for wedding DJ, and he didn't know. And
Hmm.
I explained to him, like, you got places like Wedding Wire, the Knot, that what they do is
Hmm.
they put out information. They do these surveys and they put out information, and that information says a lot about your area. So, like, for the Fayetteville area, I think when I looked at the numbers, the average cost for a DJ providing wedding services is $571. Now, when you look at that
Hmm.
number, and then you look at, okay, so what's the average cost for the United States is 1,000. So,
Yeah.
as in our area, we're shortchanging ourselves, because if the average cost is 1,000 for the USA, and we look at our zip code here, our average cost is 571. I mean, I'm just talking about DJ service, not the lights and all the other
Right.
stuff. Yeah,
Right.
it's kind of like we're hurting ourselves in the long run. So
Yeah.
those are conversations that I've been having with different DJs, not only here in the Fayetteville area, but in the Raleigh area, in Myrtle Beach area, South
Mm-hmm.
Carolina. I mean, just up and down the coast, East Coast. I haven't really talked to many DJs on the West Coast. I know I talked to a couple of DJs out in Kentucky and Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
and just trying to get a better understanding of what the market should be,
Right.
how stabilize the market, and then at the same time, we
I
need
get my
to.
charger.
Oh,
Go ahead. I'm listening. I gotta get my
okay.
charger.
One of the things is we need to stop um, trying to make money off of other DJs by giving them information that should be beneficial. I mean, it's like some DJs are charging to give out information, which technically I disagree with it, but hey, everybody gotta make their money.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. You know, um, it's unfortunate, man, that sometimes a DJ have to go that route. To charge for something that they didn't pay for.
Right.
You know,
But that's one of the things that
or
I stress to some of these DJs that are like I would say at my level and then up to your level. We need to take time to go back and help those other DJs that are just getting started. Tell them what's right,
right,
because every time I know like there's three DJs right now that I've been helping out and mentoring them, so they become great DJs. I mean, because the thing is, one bad DJ in our industry hurts us all.
oh yeah,
One DJ that doesn't do the right thing hurts all of us.
yeah,
And a lot of people, you can't look at it as it's the industry. So if you got one bad apple in that industry, it ruins the whole industry.
yeah,
So we got to police up our DJs. We have to get them to understand what right looks like, and then at the same time teach them. And so the thing is, though, they have to have an open mind. You got some
mm-hmm,
DJs that are closed minded to a lot of things, and they think they know everything just because they can do a
yeah,
little special mix on their iPad.
yeah, or because they work at a radio station. And
And see, the
like I
thing is,
said,
and
man, it's
I'm glad you said that radio station is there. I want people to understand there is a difference between a DJ and a radio personality. And a
true,
lot of people are getting radio personalities confused with DJs. And
and
so that's
there is a difference.
there is a
There is
big
a
difference.
big difference.
There's a
You
big
know,
difference. So there's some great DJs, like I said, we're not calling no names, but there's some great radio DJs out there. And then you have
yeah,
those are radio personalities to pretend to be DJs.
right. And so they'll get hired to DJ, but have a DJ for them.
And they MC it.
Right. And the DJ and they talk all
Right,
the
right,
whole event. Shut up.
right.
I mute that mic. Quick. I put the brakes on that bad boy. No, they ain't come to hear you talking. They listen to you during the day. Now they come to get their groove on. Let them party.
Right.
Leave them alone. All right.
But we're gonna get.
Calm
I
down.
know the next time. I know Hutch. The next time we have this talk, I know we're almost at an hour and 30 minutes. I say next time we have to talk, we're gonna get more into the nitty gritty of the operations of being an event DJ.
Oh,
But my thing
absolutely.
is, that I want people to get a chance to know who you are, so when they see you again, they know exactly
Right.
who you are. Because, like I said, you are
Cool.
for me, you have been an outstanding mentor. I've learned a
I
great
appreciate
deal
that, man.
from you, and I mean, I know there's been people that have said bad things about you, and they say that, but to me, it's not about like the way you handle things is based off of how the situation happens. And after I hear
Right.
both sides of the story, most of the time I'm like, you know what? Well, he's right. I mean, if you did this, and he told you and you didn't listen, I mean, hey, it's nothing I can say. I mean, and that's what happens a lot of times is that we
Yeah.
will tell them, and I've been there numerous times where
You
I
see it
tell the
coming, man.
customer, right,
Yeah.
you see it coming as a DJ. If you're an experienced DJ, you already see it coming. When you tell a bride or groom this and they want to refuse, you already know to be prepared for when that bad thing happens. You already know which way
Yeah,
to go with it.
yeah, yeah. And weddings, man, could be a DJ's worst nightmare if they're not prepared.
Yeah,
You
and you
know, and a
can't just
club
go into
DJ, right? I see a club DJ is not going to do too much prep when it comes to a wedding
right,
because they're not used to that formalities, you
right,
know, of the ceremony, what kind of music you play at the ceremony, what kind of music do you play for the processional. Most
right,
club DJs don't even know what a processional is,
right.
let alone what kind of music to play. They'll play some Erica Badu and some Sade, thinking that, oh, no, no, no. You come up in there, man, and you got people looking at you sideways and whatnot. You know, I did a Chinese wedding and I've never been to China. Didn't I
Well,
tell you
see,
about
I
that
mean,
one?
yeah, you
Yeah.
did. Cause I mean, like I said, cause I've been there too, where I've done a Thai was it not not for Thai, I'm sorry, Philippine events, and just getting the music. Cause like I said, going back to what the basics, beat per minute, the BPMs. If you understand the
There you
BPMs,
go.
you ain't gotta understand the
That's it.
language of the song, but as long as you know
Hell
the
yeah.
BPMs, you still could be a great
Yep.
DJ with songs with foreign language that you don't even understand.
Yeah.
Chris
Now
says
check
he
this
can't.
out, right?
As I look at it, Chris said he can't wait for part two.
Oh, definitely, man. Now check this out, right? When I was doing, I was doing, I think it was my third or fourth event for uh, Mark Cuban. I was playing this song by the artist by the name of Bama, and the name of the song was a remix of "Sweet Home Alabama." And one of my, at the time, I was in the DJ Hype's record pool from down in Atlanta. I don't know if you know him or not, but
Mm-mm.
I was in his record pool, and he knew I was in town, so he said, "Hey man, I'm gonna come out there and check you out." He heard my sound system 5 miles away, and at the time, I was using two 21-inch Sherwin Vegas, two 15-inch Sherwin Vegas, a Turbo Sound 18-inch sub, and a JBL PRX, I think it was, the one I sold Chris. And I was using that, and I had 10 K12s for my tops. And he heard my sound system 5 miles away. And when I played that daggone Sweet Home Alabama, them white people, and I'm not a racist person, but this one white guy came up. He said, "Man, I got to have that song. Who is that?" I said, "What's your email address?" And he gave it to me. I said, "Check your email." And I sent it to him. He said, "How much I owe you?" I said, "You don't owe me nothing. I didn't
Right,
pay for it." You know, and that's how I am with music, man. I
right,
I I don't have no problem, man, hooking somebody up with some music. It's not about the competition because you're gonna play it different than I play it.
right,
You
right,
know,
right,
so why do I not want to give it to you? Don't we promote music?
right.
Duh.
That's what we do.
Yeah. And see, stuff like that. And remember when I was telling you about the video mixing, right?
Right.
When you got into video mixing, I was like,
Hmm.
I'll do the video mixing, but I am not going to do it all night long because if you do it too much, they're going to end up watching TV
Right,
and they're not
right,
going to dance. So I'll
right.
throw some
Yeah,
stuff out there, let them get down in the groove and everything, and I tease them with it. Show them some videos, and then I hit them in the head with the hits,
right,
and just throw them in between and in and out, bob and weave, and that way you have their undivided attention. They are going to dance. You can play the most jacked up song out there. They're gonna get out there and boogie to it,
right,
and it's an art, man. And when you get in that zone,
right. Yeah,
man, don't come
yeah.
up there now. And the next thing you know, man, it's lights on and people like, damn, man, it's time to go already. Yeah, you
Right.
you been out here for a good 4 hours, man.
But that's one
That's
of the things
rotating
that,
that floor.
and
Yeah,
you know what, Hutch, that's one of the things that you and Nate both told me about the video DJing piece, and that's why I incorporated the video camera because it's like when you told me you only play a little bit, and then I said, well, you know what? I said in between, I can just highlight them dancing, and that's what I
there you
incorporate
go.
putting in the video camera. So it's like
Yeah,
between you and Nate, it's like I kind of like I understood about the video piece, so I said let me incorporate a video camera, dance cam, and
yeah,
that's been, I mean, that's been booming ever since.
there you go. because people love to see themselves and they
Right.
love to be acknowledged. So
Right.
when you know, especially like if I'm doing a wedding, I'll find the oldest person, whether they're on crutches, in a wheelchair, or whatever, and I go up there and act like I'm flirting with her. I said, "Baby, what's your name, girl?" "Oh, wow." "Oh, man." You know, and boom, now I'm part of the family.
Right.
So, bam, I mean, I done broke the ice, man. So now, you know, people's like, "Hey, can you play?" Check with the bride. Check
Right.
with the bride and the groom. Check with the bride and the groom. And then I get their approval, and then it's a whole different atmosphere. But
Okay.
yeah, the next time, man, we get together, man, we talk about some other stuff, man. I know you're trying to get off of here, man. I got some stuff I got to do. I definitely appreciate the opportunity, man, and definitely, man, anytime, just let me know. And
Oh, definitely.
I
Definitely.
took that power nap today, man. My grandkids came over here, man, wore my ass out, man.
Well, that's one of the things that I kind of figured something. I said, okay, well, I kind of figured something was going on. Then when you told me that, I said, yeah, I understand. I can't say
Man,
it's
I
been
was
there
in a
because I got a
coma.
grandkid yet, but I can understand.
Yeah,
But that's one
yeah,
of
I
the
was at a
things that
coma, man.
I know what my goal is to incorporate all of. I'm trying to get Chris. I know Chris Allen. I really want to get him before he leaves and goes overseas. I know we'll
When
still
is
be
he
able to
leaving
reach him when
for
he's overseas.
overseas?
He's I think he got like another. I think he got like at least another. I think he goes in February.
Oh, wow.
So
So
he's
you
in
short.
he's in training now. So
That's
yeah,
right.
I'm definitely going. Once he gets back here in North Carolina, I'm gonna
Okay.
get some arranged. I'm trying to get some of these other DJs as well because there's some
Hmm.
real good DJs in Goldsboro, in the Goldsboro area, and they're really trying to do some great things. And
Okay.
I really want to incorporate them and then some other DJs that are local as well here in Fayetteville, and trying to get
Okay.
us all to come together because I think with all our skill sets, I mean,
Hmm.
and knowledge and wisdom, we can really make a change in our industry here in this area.
Yeah, we got the knowledge, man. We got the attitude. I mean, we got all the right stuff, man. We just need to execute, man. That
Right.
and that's inevitable, you know.
Yeah, because I know like Chris,
That's
I know Chris Allen, and then I cannot think of his name, but the other DJs from Goldsboro, they were asking
okay.
questions about putting something together, a
Okay.
conference, or and I was like, hey, that sounds great, and trying to like
Yeah.
kind of shed some light on some of the things that goes on. And I think, like I
Okay.
say, even if it's just a small DJ boot camp, where we all come together and we all share our different experiences,
Right.
and share knowledge. That's the biggest piece is knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
Chris, I'm telling you, Chris is a madman when it comes to like the map imaging, the what's it called? I
Okay.
can't call, think it was the lighting. He does something that he does a lot more
DMX
about
lighting.
lighting. What is it called?
DMX lighting.
Not DMX lighting. He does the mapping. Um, he knows how to map the like. He's like one of the first DJs I met that knows how to put an image on a cake.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I know what you're
It's
talking about
called
now.
it's called mapping.
Right.
But like I said, he's one of the few DJs that I know that can do it. And then like I said,
Okay. That's
his
cool.
and like I say, when he took me to his storage unit and showed me all the equipment he had, I was like,
Yeah.
man, I said, good lord.
Wow.
He
That's
said
all
he
right,
leaves
man.
out
I'll definitely
first
like
week of
have to check that
February.
out.
But yeah, but we'll definitely, like I said, I'm gonna try to put something together where we all
Okay.
can get back together and talk a little bit more about operational pieces because I
Yeah.
think the biggest thing is we got to educate these customers.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And that's the only way we're gonna get out of these being put in the wrong places. I mean, I
Yeah.
hate being in timeout. Like I said, I don't mind going to timeout from I'm from in trouble, but just to
Right.
put me in
Right.
there just because,
Out the cuff. Yeah. Yeah, that sucks, man. Cause like I said, man, that one wedding I had at Mariana's,
projection
they
mapping.
didn't
That's what it's
leave.
called. That's what it's called. He just
What's it
posted
called?
up there. It's called projection mapping.
There you go. Yeah. Thank you.
Projection
Yeah.
mapping. That's what it is.
Cool.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, man. But
But
yeah, man. So like I was saying, man, about that Mariana joint, man. When I got there, there was no room on the floor for me, and they was like, "Well, you can set up behind the scrim." I said, "Are you kidding me?" So I ended up setting up upstairs, man. So every piece of equipment I had to hump up them damn steps, and that took
ooh,
me another hour, hour and a half just to do that, man. I was I DJ'd a wedding in shorts because I ain't had time to change. Plus, I did the drone. Man, I was pissed. I
Yeah,
was
them
pissed.
stairs, the Marriott stairs, that stairs ain't no joke. And I've already,
Hell no.
I mean, I know me and Chris and another, we've all had that conversation about going up them stairs. And my
That's
thing is, if
another
they want
fee.
an elevator, I ain't going up them stairs. I mean,
No,
stairs
I
is
gotta
just
do the steps. You just add on another $200 to that joint, man.
there. You go. That's why I feel like that's more stress and pain that you have to put on your body just to take that stuff up them stairs. And Mariana stairs
Hell
ain't
yeah.
no joke.
Yeah.
Those that's a lot of stairs.
Yeah. Because there's two
But
landings.
yeah, it
Yeah.
sure is.
Yeah.
It sure is just to get to the top.
Yeah. And plus, I was doing video, so I had to hook up the daggone transmitter, the receiver behind the
Right.
bar, man, for the damn project. Man, it was a nightmare, man.
And see, I do that. That's what I do all the time. But I always tell people I gotta be set up right there in front of the bar area, from the where the food, not the food, the drink fountain is there, because that's the only designate, or in the corner. There's only two places I can set up in that location,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
I let my customers know that up front, so there's no other
And the
location
Wi-Fi
for me to get.
sucks. The Wi-Fi
Well, you know what? He's
sucks.
improved it. He improved it. He actually improved it.
Okay,
He
well, I got
actually
my own now, so yeah,
right. I mean, he actually improved it because that was one of the biggest
good.
things he improved. I wasn't using it, but I noticed that when I do use it, it is extremely good. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Let me take a quick break, real quick. Hold on.
I'm up in here sweating. Yeah, so when Mario comes back, um, when we do the next, we was talking about the insides, um, turn you guys on to some different platforms, man, for production and things of that nature, man. So yeah, it'll be well worth the viewing. I'm gonna have to hop off here in a moment. I got another meeting I had at 9 o'clock.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, man.
I said like, my body was talking to me, so I had to go.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
So let's get
Yeah.
this
So
thing
like I
back.
was telling Chris, man, I'm going to get off of here, man. I got another meeting I got to be on too.
Okay.
So I will catch you on the next one. Just let me know when it is, and
All
just
right.
hit me up tomorrow, man, and we'll link up.
All right. And so just so everyone know, once again, this was DJ EZ-Hutch, the man, the legend when it comes to DJing. Like I said, he will be doing another show, and what we'll do
Definitely.
is we'll talk a little bit more about the operational piece of what goes on behind the scenes.
Cool.
All
Gotcha,
right.
man. No
So
worries.
Hutch, hold on for 1 second. Let me end this, and then
Okay.
for everybody else, y'all have a great night, and we'll see y'all next time. Hold on a second, Hutch. Take you back into the studio.